Welkom mense. Ek gaan net hallo sê in Afrikaans en gaan ek oorskakel na Engels toe want die tegniese uitsprake of die woorde is nie so goed in Afrikaans vir my nie. So ek hoop julle verskoon my daaroor. Laat ek in die middel staan. So I'd like to say welcome. Thank you very much for being here. I'm here to talk to you about the One Small Town initiative that is now suddenly taking off around the world. And it's very exciting to be in Parys. I believe from my discussions with Hanku and a few other people here, I think Parys is an absolutely perfect town to lead by example. And every town I go to now, we learn more about what not to do and what to do to make it a success quicker. So the One Small Town initiative has been around for many years. The idea started already in 2005, and it slowly but surely evolved over a long period into what it is today. And for those of you that are not aware, we've got a number of One Small Town ambassadors around the world, probably about 30 or so ambassadors around the world, and I think probably about 15 countries. And it's growing on a daily basis. Every day we get 1 or 2 or 3 more people signing up who want to be an ambassador for One Small Town. So it clearly shows that it's an idea whose time has come. And I'm very happy that we're having this presentation in a church, because I do believe that this idea is divine intervention. This is being given to us by God, and it's what we do with it that matters. And it's about solutions and solutions and solutions. So I'm not going to talk about the problems of the past, because I've learned in Barrydale, when I spoke about that, it didn't go down well. And I realized that people are sick and tired of hearing problems. People want to hear about solutions, and they want to participate in solutions. And that's what One Small Town is all about. We all know that things are not going well in the world, not just in South Africa, but any country you go to. And it's up to us to take our human spirit, our God-given talents, and yes, if you have phones, please switch them off. So I'm here really to talk to you about how simple One Small Town is, and as Hanku said, how it provides an umbrella for every activity in the town. How it provides a solution for every possible problem that we face. And as you get to know it, as the pennies start to drop for you, as you start to embrace the idea and the philosophy and its many intricate and yet simple facets, you'll start to realize how powerful it is. It's a tool for every town to use to get the best out of its people, the best out of its resources, and provide solutions very quickly. From small solutions to very large solutions. So what is, in a nutshell, what is One Small Town about? It's really about a community coming together and working together. That's ultimately what it is, deciding to work together. So it's for people who want to be part of it. It's voluntary. No one is forced to join the One Small Town initiative, so it's completely voluntary. It doesn't cost you anything to join. You don't have to jump off a cliff into uncharted waters and now start doing something that you don't know if it's going to work or not. It's none of that. We carry on our life as we do, but we start working slowly but surely and methodically towards this initiative, with small steps. You know, how do you walk a journey of 1,000 miles with the first step? And that's what we're doing here. We're here to lay the foundation. Some of you will want to be part of it. Some of you might choose not to. And hopefully the numbers of people that want to be the foundation-laying members of this initiative are going to grow in numbers and come with special skills and special talents that will make this more dynamic and more successful quicker. So what we've done is we've created an international membership structure with the One Small Town, what we call the One Small Town platform. So if you go onto the One Small Town website, onesmalltown.org, you'll notice that it says become a member. When you click on that, it takes you to what we call our platform. It's a very powerful IT blockchain type platform, and everything happens on that. It's a very secure environment. So it's not just the website, it's a very powerful and secure IT environment, encrypted. All our memberships are signed up there. All the tokens that we issue under the One Small Town umbrella for our community happens there, and so forth. So anyone in the world can go online and sign up to be a One Small Town member. It doesn't cost you anything. You can do it in 2 minutes. But It is the small towns that, like Parys or Barrydale or Kuruman or Lebanon or Stockton, California, or Horoslavia in Croatia, or the town in Wales whose name I forget now. So we've got a number of towns around the world that are already starting to implement this. But we are the foundation builders. So we can't look at existing success stories. People say, well, show me a success somewhere around the world. We are creating the success. We're here to lay the foundations to create the success. So it's up to us for others to look at with amazement and say, wow, look at what they're doing in Parys, right? And all the community projects, whether it's food kitchens or street cleaning or planting flowers or cleaning up the parks or helping the orphans, all these initiatives can find themselves and their home under the One Small Town initiative and benefit from joining the One Small Town initiative, because now they're going to actually benefit in so many other ways instead of just being on their own doing what they're doing for their community, which is fantastic and must be encouraged to continue. But the One Small Town umbrella brings all the people together, as Hanku said. So we start working together towards a united outcome of prosperity and abundance. And that's what I wanted to get to, those two words, prosperity and abundance for all of us. Because if it's not good for everyone, it's no good at all. It's one of our slogans. It's a very important slogan. It sometimes takes people a while to realize how powerful that is. The other important thing I want to say to you is that what we're doing as One Small Town is we're not fighting the system. We're not fighting or opposing the system or opposing the government or opposing the banks or opposing anything. We're creating something that's slowly but surely going to create a new system that becomes very powerful and almost, hopefully unshakable. That's what we're going towards. But we're not fighting anybody. What we do, our slogan is that we're using the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. And please pay attention to this, because it'll probably come back for you to try and digest that. If you don't get it now, it'll slowly but surely filter through. Because everything around us has been constructed in some ways to restrict us, to prevent us from doing that, and the financial system and this. So we're actually not fighting any of those systems. We're using all those systems that are currently making our lives not as easy as they should be. We're using that to actually help us and benefit us. So we're using the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. This is a very important statement that is growing, and more people starting to realize how powerful and how important that is. So we're not fighting anything or anyone, because if you start fighting somebody, you create opposition and you create factions and you create enemies. So this is a non-political thing. We don't care who you are. It's a non-religious thing. We don't care what religion you come from, because God loves everybody. And it's important to remember that. So what do we do with One Small Town? In essence, we want to create as many projects and businesses in our town that belong to the people of the community. We're bringing the power back to the people of each town with all our special skills, our individual abilities, our talents, and what we have around us. And so how do we do that? Well, we do that by starting as many businesses as we can. So literally looking out and being creative. What businesses can we start as a community that we can do immediately or with a little bit of preparation and so forth? So the important thing is that we also look at the food security, because food security is one of the most important things that we should be concerned about worldwide. And if we don't prepare for our food security now, 10 years from now, we may not be even in a position to talk about it, right? So we better get on it right now. So that's my first message to everybody. And with the One Small Town initiative, our food security is the primary thing that we always share with people. And especially, this is the part where the farmers have to play a very important role within the One Small Town initiative. Whether you're a small farmer or a large farmer, it doesn't matter. Whether you farm cattle or millies or sunflowers or cabbages, doesn't matter what it is. We need to start setting up as much food growing and food preparation and food processing and food packaging as we possibly can. That belongs to us. So, how do you become a member of One Small Town? You sign up. We're going to appoint an ambassador. First of all, we're going to appoint an ambassador in Parys. At this stage, it might be Hanku or among the team that have agreed to bring me here. They can decide who's going to be the person representing it. And then that ambassador needs to be surrounded by a group of people that are good in managing businesses, accounting, project management, writing business plans. And I'll explain to you why that is so important, the writing of the business plans. And then we start the process. So the only thing that you commit to when you sign up as a member to One Small Town, if you sign up as a member of One Small Town Parys, the only thing that you have to commit to is that you're going to find 3 hours a week to contribute towards the initiative. Ultimately, that's what it's about. 3 hours a week. That's what we're asking our members to contribute. So imagine a town of 10,000 people where everybody contributes 3 hours a week. Suddenly we have 30,000 hours of free labor that we need to do something with. And I think the penny has just dropped for some of you, how powerful that is. If we have 30,000 hours of free labor a week, we can do a lot of stuff. We can grow things that we previously couldn't grow on your own. We can manufacture or build things. We can invent things. We can distribute things. We can transport things. We can secure things. We can have the town with the best security overnight, where everybody lives in peace, knowing that they protect it, because we choose to do that. We choose to set up our own security business that makes sure that our houses and our farms are secure, and so forth. So just imagine if you have 10,000 members contributing 3 hours a week. It changes everything. If you do some research and you look at corporations, the big companies around the world, any company with 4,000 employees or more, does on average $1 billion, not rands, $1 billion turnover per annum. 4,000 employees. And this is what we should be striving for. If we have 10,000 members in Parys, each contributing 3 hours a week, we should be striving not for just 1 billion rand a year turnover, but $1 billion a year turnover from the businesses that we start. Why? Because in South Africa, we don't just have 3 hours a week. There are a lot of people that have 3 hours a day. A lot of people that have nothing to do, that are looking for something to do. And this is the opportunity that we have, because each business that we start belongs to us collectively. It's a cooperative. It's like a co-op. So whether we start making cornflakes or building laptops or making bicycles or breeding horses or anything we choose to do, let your mind run wild. We write a business plan, we put it on the platform, and we implement it. That business belongs to every member of One Small Town Parys. Doesn't matter what business it is. If you're a member of One Small Town Parys, you're an equal co-owner of that business. How do we fund these businesses? We try and fund them ourselves, if we can, from within our community, because that's always the best. If we can fund our businesses ourselves, then we are the co-owners of that business. If we don't have the money, if we can't raise enough money in our community, and I'll share with you now how we raise the money. We've created all these structures. We then put the business plan out to attract investors from outside. And the way this has been structured is that the community, the members, the members of One Small Town Parys, never own less than 60% of the businesses that we start. That's the key thing here. So we always remain the majority shareholders and majority owners of all our businesses that we start. That is a game changer, obviously, because nobody can ever come and kick you out or close the business down or whatever, because you as the members of One Small Town Parys are the owners of all the businesses that you start. So not my businesses. I'm just here telling you how this has been structured and providing you with the IT platform and the blockchain and all the stuff to use it. And remember that by using the IT platform and the blockchain, that you're now connected to every other One Small Town around the world and their success. So if they create or invent something, that success will come to Parys to manufacture, to package, and to promote and to sell in South Africa. So now we're creating a global network of small towns and a distribution network that if we create something in One Small Town Parys, we now have a growing distribution network around the world through all our One Small Towns. And that's really important. In Lebanon, for example, our One Small Town Lebanon, they're about to start packaging their honey and their primary water. That comes from 400 meters deep. It's very special, energized, very healing water. They're about to start packaging that as one small town, Ras El Matan, Lebanon, to distribute to the whole of EU and the Arabic countries around them. That business is alone worth several $1 million a year, just that. And the bee, obviously, the honey market. So we're going to get that water in South Africa, and we're going to package it and market it here. Like Fiji Water distributes their Fiji water all over the world. You go bloody anywhere in the world, you can buy Fiji water. I saw it in South Africa the other day as well. So just realize that what we're doing here is we laying the foundation for any possible business that you can come up with. This is your terrain, your area. Any business, whether it's chickens or eggs or who knows what, a clothing factory or growing hemp for this or that, who knows what, right? It's your decision. We're going to help you from our office. Remember, we're a non-profit company. One Small Town is a non-profit company, so we're not the funders, but we help to facilitate the funding through our global reach and our global network and the growing number of people that are paying attention to what we're doing now. And I can tell you, the interest in One Small Town around the world is growing exponentially, because I think people everywhere are realizing that if we don't do something for ourselves, no one's coming to help us. No one's coming to save us. Clearly, the governments, doesn't matter whether you're in the USA or the UK or Australia, doesn't matter where you are, the governments are not serving the people. So we've got to start serving ourselves. We don't want to fight the government or want to oppose them. We just have to start looking after ourselves. And that's what this is all about. And we have spent a lot of time and a lot of money that we've had to raise from our patrons online, and I'm going to talk about the tokens and so forth. So all that money, most of the money is going into building the platform, the IT, the coding and all that, because that needs to be really strong. Because we're right on the precipice of this thing taking off like a wildfire around the world. And we need to be ready on our platform when people want to sign up to join and do this, that the platform is strong, that it can manage this. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits. What are the benefits to you as members of One Small Town? This is really important for people to comprehend this. Imagine you've started, 20 businesses, 50 businesses, 100 businesses, from farming to making cornflakes to who knows what, cut flowers and business and whatever. All the profits, first of all, each business is run like a business, properly, with a management structure. We're not promoters, we're not suggesting that we're going to start a business and let a bunch of volunteers run it like a bunch of hippies, right? We're not doing that. We're not suggesting that we're going to get together and grow some food on a piece of land like some hippies, and within 2 years it's going to run into the ground and everyone's going to start making love and everything is going to just fall apart. That's not what we're suggesting. This is not one of those. So I've traveled the world, in case you're not aware of this, I've traveled the world and I've visited many of these so-called intentional communities and people trying to get self-sustained and so forth. And there is no example. There is nothing out there that works. Nothing, people. Because if it was, we'd be using it. And that's what One Small Town is. It takes the failures. What I've done over the last 17 years, since 2005, is learn from all these attempts to create self-sustained communities of prosperity and abundance that have infinite potential, not limited potential by, restricted by its borders. No. What we've got here is learning from all those failures and creating something that has infinite potential. We put no restrictions and no borders on ourselves. What you start creating here has infinite potential for growth through every business that you start. So we write the business plan, and part of the business plan is who's going to manage it. This is the management team that's going to run the business. The running of that management team and the initial startup costs for the business is like any normal business plan. Nothing changes. That goes into the funding mechanism and how we raise funds for that business. What does, however, change is the fact that we are the people that do the manual labor. We are the workforce. Because of the members of One Small Town, we're contributing our 3 hours a week. So we are creating the free labor force in our community for all our businesses. And that changes everything. Labor costs today in large companies run anything from let's say 30% up to 80%. All depends what kind of business you're in. And labor cost is becoming, slowly but surely, the limiting factor for people to actually sustain and manage to run a profitable business. So if we have 10,000 people or more in Parys that are working in our businesses every week and eventually every day, that changes everything. So our labor costs are cut dramatically. And in many ways, that is what attracts the investors. Because when you look at the business plan and you remove the 50% of the labor cost as your operating cost, it changes the profitability of that business very quickly. And that is already starting to lift up the ears of a lot of interesting investors and people that are switched on. I expect that when the penny drops for the conscious billionaires and the millionaires and the conscious investors out there, once they realize that investing your money into a small town where you can set up new businesses and have the community as your partner, not just one potential shyster as your partner, the whole community as your partner who's working towards the success of your business and their business together. Once the conscious investors realize this and we start showing some examples of success, you're going to see a stampede of investors pulling their money out of the Fortune 500, out of the stock markets, and they're going to start putting it into the small towns. Because now they're doing something that creates future prosperity for themselves, their family, their children, in a beautiful town environment, and they're creating a secure environment for their children. And that's what most of us want. We just want to live a beautiful life. We don't want to have to struggle and suffer and worry where our next meal is going to come from. Are we going to have enough money to pay the rent and all that crap? We all want the same thing. We want to have a beautiful life and be respected for who we are. And that's what really we're doing and laying the foundation for. And as we go through this, as you go through this, what the One Small Town Foundation presents is the ability for every one of our members to be honored and respected for their own individual skills and talents. Because no matter whether you're a sculptor or a grease mechanic or a restorer of something or a carpenter or a bricklayer or an inventor of something, everything that we have, all the talents in our town can be turned into a business that is then owned by the community and the person that drives it as the founder of that business. So everyone in our community has the opportunity to take their dreams and their skills and talents and turn it into something that benefits not only themselves but benefits the entire community. And that's why it's such a simple solution for everything that we do. And again, just the more you digest this, the more you realize how powerful this is. There is no restriction for anything. It never excludes anyone. We never exclude anyone from participating in One Small Town. Everyone is invited. Just come and do something that'll be good for the community, and it'll be good for you. So that's ultimately what this is. So let's go back to the benefits of One Small Town, what we do. The benefits are all the businesses we start, the profits get pooled and distributed every month to all our members equally. So if we make 100 million rand profit, then it's just divided by 10,000, whatever the number of members are, and everybody gets an equal share of those profits. So that's the first benefit. So the 3 hours a week that you contribute is rewarded equally. The second thing is that when we start to grow food or make laptops or value chain products, all kinds of food from jams and mealie meal and everything else that we can imagine, we have to put it somewhere. So sooner or later we're going to have to start a One Small Town store. And I'm sure that the moment I say that, you can see where that's going to go, right? Where we start putting a lot of stuff into our One Small Town store, we can charge less than ShopRite because we are manufacturing it. Need I say more? I'm sure you've already figured out where this is going to end, right? So we're creating a very powerful retail chain among all the One Small Towns, not just here, but around the world. And not only so, the One Small Town store acts as a warehouse and it acts as a retailer. So at the end of the month, each and every one of our members goes to the One Small Town store because our objective is to grow as much food as we can, to manufacture as much as we can, to export for cash and profits, and at the same time to grow as much food as we can so we can distribute to ourselves and our members. So we look after ourselves with the food production. Number one point here is to so food sustainability for ourselves. So at the end of the month, each of our members goes to the One Small Town store, and the system will work out how much you get in your monthly basket of goods. If you get a bag of Millie Meal, some bread, some milk, some cheese, some this and that, and a bicycle, and eventually a laptop, and then a fridge, what is it that we're going to make here? You know, we're going to make cars here. I don't know. But so the system tells you that this month you're going to get this and this and this in your basket. So that's the other benefit. So not only do you get cash dividends from the profits of all our businesses, but also a monthly basket of goods and food of the things that we've grown and created for ourselves and for export or sales for profit. And then finally, the third thing is this amazing new tool that we created is the Infinity token, is the One Small Town token. It's like a Bitcoin cryptocurrency, for those who don't know what a community token is. So think of it as like our own Bitcoin. Okay. However, it is far more powerful than Bitcoin could ever imagine to be. So how the Infinity, we call it the Infinity token. You'll see it on the website. And how the Infinity token came about was, again, part of the evolutionary growth of the One Small Town initiative. Because when we started to plan, well, how are we going to know if John delivered or contributed 3 hours to the bakery? How are we going to know if Mary contributed 3 hours at the horse stables? And how are we going to know if that so-and-so contributed 3 hours fixing the roads? And we thought, okay, well, the punch card system, who knows? And then we realized, no, that's old school, old technology. We have to use leading edge technology. So we looked at QR codes. And QR codes is now what we use. And I left my card in the car. I'll show you. So each and every one that signs up as a member gets a beautiful One Small Town membership card with a QR code on it. And that QR code is connected to your account and your membership account. So when you go and contribute your 3 hours, the project manager there has a QR code reader on their phone. And that QR code reader is connected to that specific project or business, and when you arrive to do your 3 hours, you scan your membership card and it logs you in that you've arrived to do your 3 hours. Then obviously there needs to be a project manager there to make sure that you are there and doing your 3 hours. And at the end of it, you scan your card again, and at that moment, the system deposits an Infinity token into your account. And that account has a digital wallet on it, your digital wallet in it. With that digital wallet, you can send that token to any other member within the One Small Town family worldwide. As long as you're a member, you can send those tokens. So now we're going to be earning these tokens, 1 token for every 3-hour session. But because we have people that have nothing to do and they might want to work 3 hours a day, so our members can work 3 hours a day and so earn a token every day. So what we've done, we've created our own membership means of exchange. We've created our own central bank in many ways. In essence, that's what it is. Because every time somebody works for 3 hours, they get an Infinity token, which means the value of the Infinity token is directly connected to 3 hours of labor. It's not just fresh air, pie in the sky like Bitcoin or any other of the cryptocurrencies. Our Infinity token is an asset-backed community crypto token that is worth 3 hours of labor. So the value of the token on the open market is going to grow and grow and grow. I'm going to explain to you, because this might be a bit confusing when you first hear this. So I'm going to explain to you how we set this up. So before I go there, so as you earn the tokens, and if you work for 3 hours every day, you're going to have 30 tokens or 31 tokens at the end of the month. Now, for those who have nothing, that's a game changer and a life changer. Now suddenly you have something to exchange. And there are some very exciting examples of towns that have done this, that created their own sort of promissory note, their own little tokens or slips that they exchange. And it works incredibly well because it keeps the money within the community. It keeps the support within the community, and you're not bleeding money out to the outside world. So what we expect is that as people earn more and more Infinity tokens in their digital wallet, they're going to start sharing them and exchanging them for things, for goods and services, right? So instead of paying each other with money, with rands. And that'll be in America and Australia, wherever. So what we did when we launched the Infinity token, we calculated it, we launched it about a year ago, and we calculated what is the realistic value of the token. So we used American dollars and 3 hours of labor in the USA. So the average amount you'll earn in the USA when you work for 3 hours is $40 or $39.50. That's taking into account the minimum wage, the worst minimum wage, and the highest wage. So the average would be 3 hours work, you'll earn $40. So the true value of the Infinity token in the USA and outside of South Africa, Europe, and so is $40. That's the realistic value of 3 hours of labor. We launched the value of the token at $1, so it's discounted by 40 times when we launched it on the open market. So we made, just so that you understand how we are funding the One Small Town initiative, why I can stand here and talk to you, or why I can afford the petrol to drive here. We released, just like Bitcoin in the original days, released 12 million or 20 million Bitcoins, and that was it. And that's why now it's so valuable, because there's no more available. We launched 24 million Infinity tokens for sale to the open market, to anyone who wants to buy them. They don't have to be members. Actually, it's not true. You have to become a member to be able to buy the tokens. So when you buy the token, you automatically become a member with your own digital wallet and the tokens in there. So we launched 24 million Infinity tokens as a means of funding the One Small Town office and being able to launch this and launch One Small Town offices around the world. After those 24 million tokens are sold, there'll be no more tokens available for sale. And the only way you can ever earn a token is by contributing 3 hours. And it's at that moment that it's going to become a scarcity. And if you haven't earned it, you ain't getting it. So now the only people with tokens are going to be the ones that work and are part of One Small Town and have their own tokens. And you're going to start seeing how that's going to push the price up of the token. So we've created an algorithm on the platform that every member that signs up pushes pushes up the algorithm a tiny bit. Every time that member then contributes 3 hours a week, it pushes it up a little bit more. So the more people that sign up and the more people that contribute towards their own upliftment, the value of the token goes up. It's going to get to $40, which is the realistic value, and it's going to go beyond. And secondly, the other thing that people are going to realize is that, imagine we've now been doing this for 5 years or 10 years, and our One Small Town superstore has pushed ShopRite and Pick n Pay out of the market because they can't compete. So now suddenly we are here with a very interesting opportunity. And every time you go to the One Small Town store at the end of the month to get your basket of goods, you have to sacrifice one of your tokens that you've earned. Not because you're paying for it, just to show that you received that basket of goods. So it's just proof that you received your basket of goods. But people aren't stupid. They're going to know that that one token that you sacrifice is actually what's the value in the basket of goods. So if there's a bicycle and a laptop and a fridge and meal and bread and milk and all that, what is that one token worth? It could be thousands of dollars eventually, or quite quickly. All depends how quickly we start up our businesses. And this thing is going to play in the minds of the people. So the Infinity token has infinite potential for growth, and that's why we called it Infinity. Imagine having 1 million people around the world, or 10 million, or 100 million people around the world in small towns. I think there are about 100,000, no, there's more, sorry. I'm talking rubbish. I got my lines crossed there. But imagine having 100,000 small towns around the world, which, by the way, we can reach very easily. Because in South Africa alone, we can reach 1,000 small towns in 12 months if we just apply the doubling effect. If every month the number of small towns doubles, within 1 year, we're going to have more than 2,000 small towns in South Africa, which is pretty much all the towns. And imagine that happening around the world. And the blockchain manages this, and it's easy. And every time one of our members around the world contributes 3 hours, it pushes up the value of the Infinity token. It's going to become the most valuable community or crypto-like currency in the world. but it's not a cryptocurrency, so we don't use that word. It's a community token. We don't break any tax laws or community or securities exchange laws or any of that, because you have to be a member and you have to do something to earn it. So you've contributed towards your community to earn it. So, and it's not tradable, by the way. It's not tradable on open cryptocurrency platforms. You can't trade it on platforms. You can only sell your token on the One Small Town platform to a willing seller, willing buyer. So it's not, no one's guaranteed that you're ever going to sell your token, but they're going to become desirable. It's a means of exchange and reward for ourselves in our own community. So, just to recap, the benefit is everybody gets your tokens, so it becomes a very powerful means of exchange in our community. For every 3 hours you contribute, everybody gets a basket of goods and food at the end of the month, and dividends in cash, in rands or dollars, whatever country you're in, that's deposited into your bank account from all the profits pooled together from our businesses. And you can do the numbers. If we aim at turning over R1 billion, and we have 10,000 members, you do the numbers and see how much you're going to get every month or every year. It adds up. It's really interesting. Now, agriculture, farming, medicinal plants, and so forth is obviously our main focus. And that itself can bring huge returns to a town. Medicinal plants alone, the return on that is between R500,000 and R1 million per hectare, medicinal plants. South Africa is the largest biodiversity of medicinal plants in the world. About 3,500 medicinal plants that are identified, recognized, and a lot of research has been done and papers written about it. We don't have to do that work. Thank God for the professors at the universities that have done that over the years. So we can literally go there and use the academic papers to support the medicinal values of these medicinal plants. And the global market for medicinal plants is just exploding. It's growing exponentially. So I'd always, encourage people to focus on medicinal plants, and especially the ones that grow well in your region, in your area. So again, each town around South Africa is going to focus on different plants because of their location. What we grow in East London is going to be different from what we grow here. So the most important thing is to get this out of the starting blocks. So I've been talking about the businesses, the business side of it, right? So it's really up to you and your team with the ambassador and the team of people that want to be part of it. If you got a few hours a week, then sign up, become part of the management team of One Small Town here in Parys, and help get this out, the message out to the people. Sign up members. Every member gets a membership card. What happens to our town? So just because it's not a business doesn't mean that we don't earn tokens from doing other things. Remember, we're contributing 3 hours. So every time you contribute 3 hours to the upliftment of your community, you earn a token. So we have what we call the community upliftment projects and the education programs and the skills transfer programs, where both the teachers and the learners earn tokens for either teaching or learning new skills, because all of these activities are for the upliftment of our town. So we reward our teachers and we reward our learners who want to learn new skills. So if you've got a carpentry shop and the carpenter is going to allocate so many hours a day or a week towards teaching carpentry, not just making cabinets and stuff for us to sell, and students sign up to come and learn how to be a carpenter, that carpenter earns extra tokens for teaching the students, and each student that sign up gets a token for every 3 hours they come learn how to be a carpenter. And that will apply to bakeries and dairies and plastic extraction, whatever business we start. If you sign up to learn a skill, you earn a token for every 3-hour lesson that you attend. So just keep in mind, so now most of our towns are failing. We know that our towns are just slowly but surely disintegrating because the municipalities don't have money. We don't know why they don't have money, but let's not go there. So some of us know why they don't have money, but let's not go. We don't want to fight anybody. We want to make enemies. We want to work with everybody. So we need to take responsibility for making our town beautiful. The more beautiful our town, The more tourists it attracts, the more holiday resorts we have, the more beautiful they are, the more people come. The more secure they are, the more people come. So we have to take care of all of that, the security, the beauty, the arts and culture, and so forth. So we start fixing our potholes. That becomes a project, a community upliftment project. So the ambassador and the management team of One Small Town here in Parys will go on the platform and they lodge cleaning the park is Saturday morning from 9 to 12. Every Saturday, that's where we go and clean the park. And for this, we need 50 people. And then the system will find the 50 people. It'll send them a message to say, go to the park on Saturday at 9 o'clock to do your 3 hours of cleaning up the park. And that's it. So we need to start creating our own community upliftment projects. And this is where the people that don't have anything to do, that have time every day for 3 hours, can become very valuable to the changing of the look of our towns. Not only will they be contributing towards the businesses and helping making the businesses profitable, but also making our towns beautiful. We want to live in beautiful spaces. You know what it's like. When you live in a beautiful place, it feeds your soul. If you live in a horrible dump, it destroys your soul. So start thinking about the different community upliftment programs that you can set up. It's entirely up to you. Put it on the platform, you log it as a community project, and every member that goes to do that still earns a token, right? Everyone that doesn't have anything to do comes and earns a token. But now we have a little problem. What happens with the people that have nothing to do? And they want to contribute 3 hours a day. We need to make it a little bit more rewarding for them than just earning tokens in the beginning. Because while we are still growing food and we have no basket of goods to distribute every month, we don't have any profits from any businesses, but yet we want to start immediately. So what has become now the foundation of launching the One Small Town is a community kitchen. Where we have a community kitchen where the people that have nothing can join, they sign up, they earn a token after their 3 hours, and at the end of that, they go and get a good plate of food. That's a game changer for large sections of our population in this country and many other countries. So one of the first things I always recommend is find a community kitchen or find someone that's already cooking food for people. And most of the towns already have kitchens that are feeding people. But they're feeding them on the wrong premise. It's a charity. And charity is terrible. We need to eliminate charity completely. And I'm not saying that people that work in the charities don't have good hearts. They have very good hearts, but what they're doing is not a solution. So we need to take those kitchens that are already cooking food and put them under the One Small Town umbrella. Say, carry on doing what you're doing, but now, before the people can come and have a plate of food, they become members of One Small Town. They go and do their 3 hours. They earn a token, which down the road could be very valuable to them. Right? And maybe very soon down the road. And not only do they earn a token, they come and get a plate of food from your kitchen. And because your ladies are cooking the food, they're also earning tokens for cooking the food. So now everybody benefits. So they can carry on doing what they're doing, but just do it under the One Small Town umbrella. That's what when Hanku said, we need to take all these groups that are already doing things to help the town, put them all under the One Small Town, and everybody benefits. Not only that, now the people that are cleaning the streets and making our town beautiful and artists or whatever, after their 3 hours, they get their token, they get their plate of food. But very soon, when one of our businesses starts to make a lot of profit, they're also going to get a portion of the profits from those businesses because they're contributing towards the upliftment of our town. So in case you didn't get this, the distribution of the profits from our businesses is not just for the business that you worked in. So if you worked in the bakery, for example, it doesn't mean you're only going to get the profit from the bakery. No. You're going to get the profit from all the businesses collectively because you've contributed 3 hours towards the upliftment of your community. And this is why the One Small Town initiative is not a bartering system. It's not a bartering trading idea. It is not a one-to-one trading or exchange system. It is a one-to-many idea and system. And this is really, really important. What you do for 3 hours for your community helps everybody else from those 3 hours that you've contributed. So We collectively work in all our businesses 3 hours a week or 3 hours a day, and then we all collectively benefit from the profits of those businesses equally. It's very important. The other question that came up the other day was, well, what about the people that earn, that work 3 hours a day and they earn tokens every day? Do they get more distribution of the profits? And the answer is no. The system is structured that the minimum you have to contribute to be a benefiting member or a contributing member that gets benefits from all the businesses and everything is a minimum 3 hours a week, so 12 hours a month. After that, if you comply with that, then you get all the benefits that any member gets. That's all you have to do. If people want to work more than 3 hours a day, those are additional, that's their choice, and they earn tokens for that. Okay? They're not getting more profit from the businesses because they've worked 3 hours a day. Okay? They just earn tokens, and those tokens and a plate of food. And those tokens will become their future reward, their future value. When the tokens goes to $40 and $50 and $100, now they're going to be sitting with 1,000 tokens. Imagine if the token goes to $1,000. This is going to be a very powerful tool for our members. So that's an important thing to get over. So the food kitchen, one of the founding cornerstones in the One Small Town, really important to get that off the ground because that brings the people together. And I suspect, imagine finding a beautiful place where you have this food kitchen where all of us go. Doesn't matter what color you are. When you finish your 3 hours and you want a plate of food, hey, we'll go to the community kitchen, get a plate of food with everybody else. And what that might eventually become is a real meeting place of the people. Eventually we might say, why don't we get the dancing group that does, traditional dancing or whatever, come and dance at lunchtime and dance in the afternoon, right? And for doing that, they also earn tokens because now they're helping to entertain our members. So we're really rewarding ourselves. Everything we do for the benefit of our community, we're rewarding ourselves with our own token because we're the bankers. We are the central bank for our community tokens. And this becomes very powerful. Now suddenly you've got this melting pot place where the community meets, they get fed, there's entertainment, and maybe it turns into an evening music venue. And now suddenly the tourist buses say, hey, we want to see what these guys are dancing for the people that are making their town so beautiful. So now it becomes a tourist destination. And I'm going to leave you with that and let your mind, take it further to the next level. So you never know where these things are going to go. But by doing this, we're creating really exciting opportunities for so many different diverse areas of our town. The one thing that I'd like to bring to you, that Hanku mentioned, is the One Small Town Art Gallery. When you awaken the artistic spirit and the artistic soul of a community, you awaken the community. And that's what sort of destructive capitalism does. It destroys the creative spirit of artists. And that's really terrible. And when we use the artists to beautify our town and beautify our environment, it lifts everybody's spirit. When we awaken the artistic soul, the community comes to life. And it affects so many aspects of that community. So what we recommend is very, very strongly is to find a venue that could be turned into the Parys One Small Town Art Gallery. And I recommend you look at a very big barn or a big warehouse, like a macro kind of, a big place, right? Because this thing is going to grow. Not just for the art, but also teaching of art, teaching of sculpture, teaching of music, maybe music classes, places where people can come practice their musical instruments, where there's an edit suite, a music studio, and a film production studio where you can shoot stuff and make little movies. It becomes the artistic, cultural melting pot, a center point of the town, but starts with an art gallery. Now, we've changed the way that art is going to be sold around the world, and that's another revolutionary thing that's happened with the One Small Town initiative. Again, so these are not my ideas. These are things that were divinely beamed down to me. I was just managed to pick up on the message, right? This is all a much bigger plan. I'm just following the script, right? And so imagine when we build this art gallery, or we take a barn, and it can literally be a piece of land. If we can find a farmer or a landowner that says, okay, I'll allocate this 2 hectares to turning this into an arts and culture hub, right? So we can find enough money, raise the money to put up a 20 by 100 meter bloody warehouse, the steel thing with the roof on it and that. We start as simple as that. And then we invite the artists from the whole community to come and work on it and turn that gallery into a work of art itself. So the gallery is a work of art itself that then becomes a tourist attraction. So that's just one suggestion. Or use an existing barn or a warehouse that is already done and turn it into a work of art itself. And then we invite all the artists in the area to come and display their art in there. The artist gallery is managed by a proper art curator, so it's a business, right? It's a business. And it runs to support the artists of the town. Then what we do is the art that's on display goes on auction. Well, it's on auction all the time, but once a month, we spend a lot of focus on that Parys art gallery and promote it online. What are all the new works of art that have been deposited into the art or on display in Parys One Small Town Art Gallery? And all the art is promoted and it's sold online. But what we do is every work of art is turned into an NFT, a non-fungible token itself. Now, for those of you that don't know what NFTs are, it's a whole part of the crypto world that's just gone crazy. And now they're using NFTs and they're making stupid little horrible things. And again, they've turned NFTs into something that people are paying a lot of money for, but it's got no value at all. Well, we're turning that upside down. We're taking the actual work of art and turning that into the NFT. So now, every time that work of art, and it's encoded with a digital QR code. So once that work of art is sold, it can never be resold without its digital certificate, which is the NFT encoded on it. Because the new owner will want to know that they buy in the original thing, right? So now we secured a lot of important things. The authenticity of that work of art and the payment of the artists. So what we've done now, in the art gallery, if you're an artist, you bring your art, you display your art. The first sale of your art, you get 60%. The gallery retains 30%. And there's always a 10% held for the One Small Town office. And by the way, if I haven't mentioned this, that's the structure for everything, 60, 30, 10. All our businesses. So the community always retains 60% of all their businesses. If they fund it themselves and they own 90% of the business, if a funder comes in, that funder retains 30% and 10% is retained for the costs of the One Small Town office in Parys. And then they kick up 4% to the international office. Because if we don't have money, the international office, it's a bottom-up approach. So just this explanation shows you this is not a top-down situation. This is a bottom-up situation. So we can't survive unless you are successful in your One Small Town initiatives. And so if the artist sells their art for the first time, they get 60%. The gallery retains 30% for running operating costs and so forth. And then every time that work of art is resold, and it's sold through the NFT QR code, that artist gets 10% of that resale price. So now the artists are not just making a once-off sale. They're going to get royalties from every work of art they ever sell into the future. This changes the world of art sales completely. So we don't see any artists putting their art into any art gallery other than One Small Town. Why would they do that, right? And now you have a global network of small towns and art lovers that are going to be focusing on our art galleries. And then at the same time, talk to the artists and develop a whole community upliftment program and a beautifying program. What can we do to Parys to make it beautiful? We're going to paint the walls paint the houses, beautiful colors. Think creatively, think out of the box, get creative, get the artists to come up with crazy artistic ideas for the town. You're unleashing the creative spirit, and that makes a big change. There are some like ghettos and slums in Brazil and around the world. Well, all they did is they just handed out paint to the people, and they let them paint their houses, their tin shacks, their little shanty houses and that. And the result is always spectacular. It creates a whole new tourist attraction. People want to go to where all those fancy, colorful houses are and what's going on there. Now suddenly you've got opportunities for cafes and shops and restaurants and so forth. So when you drive into a town, it's going to be like, whoa, what is this place, right? So think of it like that. So that's my encouragement always. What have I left out? What have I left out of this? Oh, yes, primary school children. So what we, for example, doing with our seedling program is school children or primary school children, we encourage that they start the seedling program. And basically we encourage the kids, bring all the seeds from home, bring them to school. And we have an after-school program where they take the seeds and they plant the seeds. So there's somebody that teaches them how to plant the seeds and how to make the compost and how to treat the soil and what to do to grow that. And then what they do is we use recycled plastic, recycled ice cream buckets and whatever, so to plant the seeds in. Then what we do is we get the kids, now there's an art teacher involved, and they first, before they plant the seeds, so they learn how to make compost, how to treat the compost with special nutrients, how to treat the seeds, and so forth. And then there's an art teacher that teaches them with some paint, and they paint their little plastic thing and make it as beautiful as they can. They write their name on it. Now there's a heartstring attached to that little seed that's growing out of that thing, right? So now imagine if just 100 children a day bring 10 seeds. They'll probably bring more. You're growing 1,000 trees a day, or 1,000 plants a day. If it's 300 children, now it's 3,000 plants or 9,000 plants, who knows? This is potentially a very big business. Imagine if you have 300 kids a day growing 10 seeds or a few more, you're literally growing 100,000 little trees a month. That's more than 1 million trees a year. At an average 50 Rand profit, I don't need to tell you more. And this is a tiny little project in a tiny little primary school with 300 children. So the more you start thinking out of the box about this, the more you realize how powerful this is and how quickly this thing can grow. But what we are doing as well is we are working on our seed bank program. You'll see it on the website. We're about to issue our seed bank token to raise money so we can actually help our seed bank farmers create stable hybrid seeds that are not controlled by Monsanto or any of the GMO giants, that belong to the One Small Town community around the world. So our program with the seed bank initiative is we're going to be treating with our special seed treatment technology, which is not GMO, it's driven by frequencies and current and so forth. It's like electroculture on steroids, right? For those of you who know what electroculture is. So that's how we treat the seeds. So they grow quicker and they better yield. They need less water, less nutrients. They can grow in bad soil and so forth. So with this, we're going to grow as many of the food seeds we possibly can and find seed bank farmers around the world and around South Africa to start growing the seeds and the different plants for us and start creating seed banks. Future food security is absolutely critical. But at the same time, it's a big business opportunity because selling seeds to commercial farmers is a huge business, as you know. So every seed that we create a stable hybrid, we then register with our own coding, with our own code in it, in the DNA. So it belongs to the One Small Town members around the world, and no one can steal it or claim it as their seed. And the reason we have to do that, because if we create super seeds that grow really well, and we haven't registered that seed for us, one of the big GMO companies will take it and register it for themselves. So we have to do this to protect our own seeds. So if you think we're trying to do what they're doing and now we're becoming as evil as they are, that's not what we're doing. We're protecting our own interests here. So they can't steal our seeds. So you can imagine where this is going to go. This is we're in the very initial stages. We've got incredible technology that we've done the tests already, but we're improving the tests now. So that's where we are with that. And even yesterday and today, I've learned about some great developments in the seed growing and the seed bank area and business. So I think maybe we should go to questions because I know that some of you have burning questions and I've rattled on long enough. So let's open the floor to questions.